Hey everybody, this is episode 36 of Miami Masterclass, and before we go any further, I do have to issue an apology. Some of you who watched all of the last episode 35, it went for 44 minutes. That's absurd. I do sincerely apologise about that. I'm actually, as I'm talking to you right now, I'm looking at the clock that I usually keep an eye on, just so you know, episodes don't go on too long. At least I have a rough idea of how long the episode's going to be. But unfortunately, I got totally sidetracked, wasn't paying attention, and as soon as I went to start editing the episode, I realised it went for 44 minutes, and yeah, ludicrous. So I don't expect any of you to have watched the whole episode. I mean, most of you probably switched off and ran out and jumped in front of a bus because it was so boring. So I will do a little bit of recapping just on the last month, because we actually had a little bit of a blip. We didn't have the best of months. We'll just go have a quick look at the standings. We did finish the month 2-8. We got swept by the Cardinals, who aren't doing particularly well, and we didn't have the best of finishes against the teams within our division either. I believe it was someone, Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta nearly swept us. We did share the spoils against Baltimore though, and then we nearly got beaten entirely by the Brewers as well, who aren't doing much better. So in terms of this month, we do have July to run through. Of course, we do have the international free agents in, the next day, tomorrow. So this was going to be a very, very quick sim. I don't even know if we're playing today, so I'm not been paying attention. No, we don't. We've actually got the day off. So let's have a quick look then at the international amateurs. See if there's anyone that grabs us, as this one looks very, very tasty. And we've got a little bit of money to spend here, so I'm going to actually really try and grab a few of them. So let's go to work ethic first. So we've got quite a few players with high work ethic. I like Jose Cruz, but his low intelligence keeps him down a little bit. But you know what? He looks very tasty, doesn't he? He looks very, very tempting. There's a few players here. A lot of them, like these guys, these two here have got great power. And who's that? Antonio Rosa. He's got good power potential, good eye potential. Speed and stealing are very good. But his contact potential's down a little bit. So that's something that I'm going to have to look at. I quite like Jose Flores as well, although his speed is very low. But he's great across the board. Even if only 3 or 4 of them develop, he could be very, very good. The right fielder. What about, let's have a look at the pitchers, see if there's any pitchers that really stand out. The Mexican Jorge Guerrero, he looks very good. I might throw him some money, actually. I really like him straight away. Again, low intelligence, though, it's a little blip, so it makes learning new pitches quite difficult, and he's only really got 3 pitches. So you know what? Actually, I'm not that sold on him. If we go by demand might be isn't the best way of judging a player's ability, but it usually gives you a rough idea of how what they're sort of going to go for, really, because you're not going to spend 2.6 million on a scrub, are you? So Jose Flores wants 2.6, but his speed's right down. I'm not sold on that at all. I quite like that guy that I actually saw before. I think it was when we were searching in work ethic. This guy, Antonio Rosa, he doesn't want much money at all. His contact's very low, but he's got high work ethic and high intelligence. He could be quite good, plus he's got a bit of speed as well. His defensive ratings could do with a little bit of work, but for that sort of money, he's worth a punt, I think, because I don't feel like we've thrown money away if he doesn't develop the way we expected. So I'll lowball him a little bit, and we'll offer a contract to Antonio Rosa. Anyone else? I mean, someone like this shortstop, for instance, here, what's that? Wei Kwang Chin from China. Very high work ethic, but look, that contact potential. If he could get that up just a fraction, he could be very good. But see, our head scout doesn't really rate him. You know what? Our head scout's actually not very good at scouting youngsters, so that could be something to keep an eye on. And see, he doesn't want a lot of money either. I might sign him, actually. I might because he's cheap. Let's see what he's, this is something that I haven't really done in previous episodes. I tend to just sign the star players, and obviously I either pay way over the odds or not. This time, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to see if we can get some real bargain players, and if they develop, then happy days, and if they don't, then we haven't spent squillions of dollars. I really want to get a pitcher if possible. Let's have a look at stuff. Stuff usually is something that I avoid, but there's not a lot here, is there? I definitely want high control. See, this one could be quite good because he's got high control and good stuff and good stamina, actually. Who's that? Julian De Leon? Although they might say Julian, wouldn't they? Julian De Leon. Again, he doesn't look too bad. He could be a very good relief pitcher. His movement's a bit nyeh, but again, there's still time to develop. There's a lot of room to develop on all his pitches. But again, he's cheap, so I might... And our head scout thinks he's very similar to the OSA rating, so I might offer him some money as well. I'll go down to 75, and we'll ask for a response on him. And let's keep cracking. I don't think there's anyone else, is there? I'll just have actually, before we just keep cracking. So there's some of these better players. So Jose Cruz, for instance, I'm not going to pay that sort of money for a 16-year-old. I just don't think it's worth it. Johan Mio might be all right. He's a switch hitter and a catcher with high work ethic, high intelligence, but 2.4 million. Just not going to pay that sort of money. So let's sim to the All-Star game, because I think the last season, I will spit it out eventually. I think I glossed over it, didn't I? I didn't mention it. I usually like to at least show you guys the All-Star game, but I didn't this time. So it looks like we may have dropped another game, but we're playing Pittsburgh, who are very similar to us. So the Giants want this guy. I might avoid him now, because he was why not, let's go for it, but I'm not going to risk it. Antonio Rosa, now the Toronto want him, so let's just see what I'm just going to see what his demand is and just basically accept it. De Leon had an offer from the Brewers. I'm not going to go much over sort of 150 for him, I don't think. So we've actually got a series against San Francisco coming up, and they've really struggled. I mean, they've got Jose Fernandez, let's not forget, who's leading in strikeouts and pitcher WAR, for that matter, and they're coming dead last. I bet he's regretting leaving us now. Now, who's this? Through a no-no. I don't think he's nothing to do with us, is he? Ugh. This is going to be really difficult to sign these guys, but I'm just going to keep meeting their demand because they're very cheap. De Leon, I won't go over 150 for him. That Rosa, I'm not too upset if his demands go too high, because he only wants something like 60,000. So I mean, I don't think he's going to go for more than 100. So there we go. So we did lose all of these guys. We did lose Palacios in the end, but I'm not that upset about him. He wanted a lot of money, which I wasn't going to offer. So yeah, I'm not disappointed at all there, actually. So Jeffrey Loria, the mid-season review of the goals, he's very happy. I like to hope so, anyway. There's that. Yeah, maybe we can make it once we get in. We have as good a chance as anyone. Do your best to get it done. So yeah, I mean, perhaps he's not as happy as I thought. Can't be upset with a team that's third in runs against. So that's what he wanted to improve, and we did. Attendance is increasing. That's good. He's satisfied. So he's not as delighted as I thought. He's satisfied with the performance so far. So we're losing our hitting coaches and our bench coach as well. How's our hitting coach getting on? Have we seen an increase? Not really. It's actually gone down slightly, hasn't he? But maybe we'll see what else is out there. What about bench coach? Look, I'll re-sign him because I like his game strategy. It's very similar. So if we offer an extension for 2 years, what's he on? He's on 264. So I'm not going to offer him that much. Let's go 300,000 for 2 years. There you go. So he's signed the extension. So that's one less player, one less personnel we have to worry about. In terms of the All-Star game, anyone... I don't think there's a lot to change. Is their profile still there? Andrew McCutcheon's moved back up into second and centre field. And Adam Connolly's actually squozen. That's a word, I think. Squeezed in to the starting pitches as a possible rotation player there. So that's quite promising. As we just demolished San Francisco 11-0, actually. I have noticed, actually, every time I've sort of looked up, I haven't mentioned it, but I have noticed that we win a lot of games by blanking the other team entirely. So I can't complain too much about that. Because we're still holding that 2.5 game lead over Atlanta, which, I mean, I'd love that to be a bit higher, but... So Rosa still wants more money, but we have signed DeLeon, I think it is. Shows how much of an attention I've been paying. Yeah, DeLeon, we did sign him. 16. Is he too young to throw over in the rookie league? I don't think he is. Let's throw him over there. Where are we? Put him into the Dominican one. That's his home country. As we're taking on Arizona, and then we've got San Diego. Now, Arizona are playing about 500 ball, I think. They're a bit under. San Diego are playing 500 ball, so we should try and take a couple of these games. Most of these games from the 2 series. I hope. There you go, so we did. So we actually lost Chin to Cleveland in the end. And Rosa did sign as well. Now he's from the Dominican, so yeah, let's throw him into the Dominican League. And we did just lose to Arizona. Let's get to this All-Star game. Oh, let's get to the All-Star game. There you go. Helps if I click, doesn't it? Is Atlanta only half a game back now? No, we don't want that. If we can keep our lead going into the All-Star game. There we go, bumped up to 2 games now. If we can keep that lead, that puts us in such a great position. And it looks like we might just about do it. Maybe not. July 14th. So this is the All-Star teams are announced today. And we did win that game, so we're 2 games ahead. God, this is so tight, isn't it? I really just want... Why can't they just lose? I just want the Braves to lose a few games. So here's the final rosters then. As we have a look, Madison Bumgarner made it in to the American League roster, so that's really frustrating. Anyone else, actually? Let's see if there's any other names, because it seems like most of ex-Marlins players are now superstars, but it doesn't look like... Stanton's in, but he's not putting up fantastic numbers, is he? So he's in for Texas. Now, last year in 2018, he did get 47 home runs. This year, he's only got 13. Admittedly, there's many games to go, and he was injured, but that is very interesting. Injury history, fragile. So maybe we got a bit of a deal getting rid of him. Admittedly, he's still putting up good numbers, but as long as he keeps getting injured, that's fantastic. So Taylor Jungmann is in. Actually, Taylor Jungmann made it, and I am thrilled with that. What a signing he's been. I really didn't expect him to be as good as he is, but he's been fantastic. He's actually putting in... Is that his best? Yeah, I think that's his best numbers in the Major League this year. He's doing that well, so he thoroughly deserves his spot. Anyone else? We've got to be pretty quick down here. And we do have Andrew McCutcheon in as well. I'm not too surprised about that. I mean, he's been an all-star for... What's that? Basically every year, isn't he? So he certainly deserves to be there. So let's get to this All-Star game done. That didn't even make sense, did it? Let's get to this All-Star game done. And let's have a look and see what the final score was. See how our guys got on. We probably got injured. Player of the game was Stanton. Ex-Marlins player, of course. That was always to be, wasn't it? Kutch went 0 for 2. With a strikeout, and Jungmann, he threw an inning and he got 2 Ks, so he didn't do too badly, did he? And Stanton got man of the day. What did Stanton do? Where is he? He went 1 for 3. Obviously he got a home run. That explains it. And Bumgarner, he gave up 2 hits, so that's quite positive as well. But never mind. So we did lose 2-0 in the end. The American League won that, so that's worth knowing in case we do squeeze into the World Series. And let's carry on with the rest of the month. So we're playing the Cubbies, who are leading their division. So this is a real tough one. If we can take a couple of games from them, then we're in a position to really challenge for the World Series, because we didn't do too bad. I mean, admittedly, Baltimore seems to have faded away a touch now, not by much, but we split the series with them, and it looks like we've just done very, very well against the Cubs. I mean, you can't judge from one series, of course not, but it does prove that we're not just in a weak division or anything like that. If we can sort of keep matching ourselves against the stronger teams, then we're obviously doing all right, which seems to be the case. So I'm thrilled with how we're playing at the moment. I mean, look at that wins. We've got Conley and Jungmann in there. RJ Alvarez is in with saves. I don't think I've had a player in the saves leaders ever, actually. Even offline, in offline games that I play, my closers are always really, really poor, as we are doing very well this month. So fingers crossed then that little blip at the end of June was just that. It was just a blip. It was a little speed bump. As what I was that not quite the end of the month. So we've lost Baez to injury, but anything else that really stands out? Drew Hutchinson blanked us. That's always fun, isn't it? It doesn't look like there's a great deal else. Avery Romero, actually, he did very well. We've got 5 hits. That's all right. He's definitely coming back up, I think, in the expanded roster. But I don't know. There's just something about him that I'm not sure if he's worth keeping around. I think he probably is. I mean, he's a very durable player there, so he's obviously got very low injury history. But I don't know. There's just something about him. I mean, perhaps it's just because Joe Panic is obviously so good at second base, and we've got Tejada as well, that Romero's sort of not getting a look in. Jurickson Profar actually got Player of the Week, so that's something that I will talk about in a couple of days when we get to the end of the month. He's finally looks like he's coming into a bit of form. We have lost Pedro Baez for 2 weeks. A little bit frustrating because he's been putting up solid numbers for us. But 2 weeks isn't too bad. We've been so lucky with injuries. So what I will do is I'll throw him onto the disabled list just for 2 weeks, and he should be able to come back. And we'll bring up someone from AAA. Let's see who's actually deserving of it, if anyone. We should really go pitchers, shouldn't we? Look at their stats. Anyone here that really stands out? Jimmy Sherfy, he's putting up very good numbers. ERA plus, he's actually got the best ERA plus, apart from Del Pozo. I've never heard of in my life. Actually, where's he come from? Oh, it looks like he's come up through our system. There you go. He's been one of those quiet achievers that's suddenly now in AAA, and I knew absolutely nothing about, so that explains it. But it does look like Sherfy might be the best option here, because he's played the most in relief, apart from Grant Dayton, but his ERA is very, very good. Nick Whitgren is the possible other candidate, but yeah, he hasn't been impressing. So Sherfy's coming up. Now, did he... Last year he didn't put up terrible ERA numbers. I'm guessing there was a reason for my madness in putting him down in AAA, but he certainly deserves his call-up. And let's hope that he carries on, as we've not got many. We've only got a couple of games to go. And let's just get through this. We've only got 2 games to go, and then we can have a quick look at how the players performed for the month of July. But we are sitting 4 games. Every time I say that, it always goes down, so perhaps I shouldn't mention the games behind. But we are still leading it. I mean, if we can hold that 4-game advantage going into the last couple of months, that puts us in such a great position. Admittedly, Atlanta nearly blew it when they had, a 7-game lead, I think, and they nearly blew it entirely. So let's have a quick look then at player development. Raul Muto keeps declining. Raul Muto, I've actually, offline, I've been looking at trading him away. He's on, look at that, 9 million, and his numbers are poor. He didn't do that well with us in 2015. We got rid of him to Baltimore. He did amazing. And then he's come back to Miami and he's just gone downhill entirely. So he's obviously got something against playing in Florida. I don't know. But he's certainly not staying on that sort of money. Magnifico's not doing terribly. It looks like there's a lot of negatives here. But Abraham Almonte's increased his, contact and eye. So that's not bad. Chris Sadbury's improved. He's down in AAA, a relief pitcher. Felix Castillo's improved. Dylan Paulson, yes, he looks quite good. That is a worry. That's dreadful. Matt Oldham. Where did we pick him up? Picked him up a couple of years ago, around 10. Was that the year that No, I did sign this guy. This This is one of the Aussie Ducker signings, so that's why he's awful. But he's putting up okay numbers. But yeah, I mean, you can't really judge too much because I mean, if you just go down one rating point, it's not the end of the world, is it? So where is he? Just so we can carry on. Luis Alcala's improved a little bit. We've got a lot of negatives here, don't we? Freddie Zamora, never heard of him in my life. Then we've got Ryan Lekic. Now he's improved. What's that? His current contact rating has improved, and his speed has improved. So that's promising. The right fielder. Now we picked him up a couple of years ago in round 6. I do actually remember signing him. Yeah, he could be interesting. He's still down in short A, is he? No, he's in the A now. See, that's something. I mean, if any out-of-the-park developers are watching this, I'd love this to be in the order that they actually played in. Because you obviously started in short A and then got bumped up to A, but it's in the wrong order, so I'm quite annoyed about that. But he's batting 250, he's holding his own, his Ops Plus is just a touch under 100 there. So I'm not too disappointed about him. That's a minor concern. 2 triples. I mean, with that sort of speed, I expected a couple more, but early days, isn't it? You can't sort of... I'm not going to judge him too harshly on that. Matt Milroy has improved as well. That looks about it. I won't go into too much detail. So that does bring a close to July. We're now sitting on the 1st of August, which is trade deadline day, and we are sitting 5 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves. We've gone 5-5 to round out the month. They've gone 4-6, so that's always promising. The Mets have improved quite significantly as well. I mean, those 3 are very, very close, which is usually where we were sitting in previous seasons. We've always sort of been, in amongst the pack, and you win a game, you drop 2 places, you lose a game, whatever. So that's promising. But Atlanta are our biggest threats, and we're sitting 5 games ahead of them, which isn't. They can catch up to that. 5 games isn't much at all. I mean, Atlanta Braves, they're only half a game back from the wild card, so they've got it all to play for. So they're not going to be resting on their laurels. So in terms of our leaders, then it looks like Kutch is leading absolutely everything except runs batted in. Kyle Schwarber's actually picked up quite a few there. But and Profile's got WAR. There you go. So Profile has improved quite significantly because Kutch was out in front by a million miles before, and it looks like Profile's caught up, who was really struggling. But our pitchers, I don't know what to say. Our pitching has been... At the start of the season, I thought this is going to be what does us in. This is how I'm going to lose my job because I didn't sign any good pitchers. I threw away Bumgarner because I lost Cicchini in the Rule 5 draft. But, we've done so well. Taylor Jungmann is now an all-star. Is that his first all-star? It is. So he's become an all-star with Miami, having never done it before. Brandon Finnegan's been putting up fantastic numbers. Adam Conley as well. All in the 2s. Fantastic stuff. We will have a quick look at Damien Magnifico a little bit later. I mean, look at that. Finnegan and Jungmann are both in the who's hot. And we've got this Montas as well, the reliever, who's actually hot. CJ Cron, though, who's not. Yeah, he hasn't been firing for about 2 years. We're doing quite all right in National League rankings as well. This batting average is 8th. I think it was 10th, wasn't it, in the last episode? Please tell me if I'm wrong there. Stolen bases is 15th. Who cares about that? If we can win games without stealing bases, then we must be doing something right. Starters ERA, though, 2nd. When you look at the players we've got in the rotation, we threw away Jose Fernandez, we threw away Madison Bumgarner, and we've improved our ERA. So baseball's a funny old game, isn't it? But let's have a quick look then at July's stats. So yeah, Aaron Blair. Adam Conley's actually been a little bit of a blip. Same with Magnifico, actually. He's in a cold streak. So there must be more on that page, but he probably can't fit it all on. So Magnifico's in a bit of a cold snap. I mean, those numbers are poor. I mean, if we got rid of him, we might even be better off. We might be winning even more games, but you can't have it all, can you? Let's not be greedy. Let's just be happy that we're sitting at the top of the standings. But also, if we make the playoffs, there's a good chance he's not even going to play. So I'm not too concerned about that. If we look at our rotation, I keep getting that mixed up. If we look at our bullpen, all pretty good. Sherfy hasn't actually even played for us yet, coming up for the injured Baez. Dan Slania, Addison Reed's had a bad month, but Montas, look at that, he's been on fire. Yimi Garcia's been doing all right too. DeFratis has started the season very well. He's slumping a little bit. Can't really complain. And of course, our closer RJ Alvarez has been putting up fantastic numbers. And is he still in the? Let's go to the standings rather than the entire stats. Is he still there? Yeah, he is in saves. He's got 25. He's got one less than Outman at Arizona. So you certainly can't complain about him. In terms of our lineup, though, this is where it gets a bit messy because we've got Real Muto as catcher on $9 million doing that. 171 for the month. He's so poor. CJ Cron is even worse. I'm really pleased that AJ Reed seems to have stepped up, though. I mean, he's putting up very, very solid numbers. So it might be worth trying to get rid of CJ Cron, see if anyone will take him. Not with those numbers. I don't think anyone's going to be interested. But AJ Reed certainly stepped up, so we're quite thankful in that regard. Joe Panic's been putting up poor numbers. So there you go. So we've got catcher, first base, and second base all putting up quite poor numbers. And we've done very well for this month. Ruben Tejada has found games here and there, and he's putting up great numbers. He should be, hopefully, I mean, I'd like to think that the manager would have been starting to play him over Joe Panic, particularly as Panic's been struggling a little bit this month, but not to be. Castellanos has seemingly improved a little bit. He seems to go month to month, and he seems to really struggle at the start of the season, but he's starting to find his feet. Profar, though, that's why he's improved his WAR, 327. His ops is very close to 1,000 as well, so I'm thrilled with how he's been getting on. 20 runs, certainly cannot complain. And he leads RBIs as well. And he's actually tied with Mazzara for home runs for the month, so that's why Profar's done so well. What a month this has been. He started off the season very, very poorly, but he's certainly improved on leaps and bounds. Now, Schwarber, I believe he's still our catcher. Yes, Schwarber's our catcher. I should just change him to catcher and be done with it, shouldn't I? In fact, I might do that, because then it'll help the... where are we? Let's change that to catcher. It'll certainly help the AI manager pick the team a bit easier. So Casey, let's go back to Schwarber, because I didn't mention him, did I? Not too bad. 244, 15 RBIs. He always does that. I don't quite know why, but he always hovers around that sort of 250 mark. But I think his ratings are higher than the numbers he's producing. But never mind. He's holding his own. We've got arbitration again next year. He's probably going to want sort of 7 million, something like that. But if we can get rid of someone like Real Muto, bring in a backup catcher, then Schwarber's got his position in catcher sold. Casey Saltis, he's struggled a little bit, not found much game time, to be fair. Abraham Almonte, remember, he improved from that player development report, and he's doing okay. This guy's been a big disappointment. Made 7 plate appearances, 143, ops plus minus 18. But let's not forget, guys, he's a nothing, is he? We picked him up in the Rule 5 draft. If we let him go, he goes back to the Yankees. So he's hanging around. I don't expect him to improve much more, to be honest. He's 26. So if he improves, it's going to be very, very slight. So he's basically a career sort of AAA player, really, with the odd backup in the big team. Andrew McCutcheon, though, the centre fielder, he's cooled off quite significantly, hasn't he? He started the year with an absolute bang. But I mean, if he can keep that average rating up, the 282, I'll be happy with that. And lastly, Mazzara. Mazzara's had a very poor start to the year. He declined quite a lot, but he's put on a fantastic month. 316, ops of 918 as well, which is really, really good. So he's been certainly improved. But look at those numbers. Look how low he's sunk lately. I mean, our OSA ratings, we've got his home run power slightly higher, but my head scout doesn't think he's very good at all. So that might be something to worry about. Other than that brings up the month of July to a close. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you pop a like on there. If you've got any suggestions, any feedback, do not hesitate in putting a comment on the video. And we'll see you in a couple of days for the next episode. Thanks for watching.